My little sister moved in with me and kept inappropriately flirting with my boyfriend. I found secret photos of him on her laptop. I, 25F, never imagined I would be posting about family drama on Reddit, but the situation with my sister Mila, 18F, has gotten completely out of control. For context, Mila moved in with me about 2 months ago after she got accepted to the same university where I completed my degree. Our parents convinced me to let her stay with me since I had a spare bedroom and they would cover her portion of the rent. Growing up, Mila and I were never close. Our parents always treated us differently. I had strict rules, early curfews, and constant supervision. Meanwhile, Mila got away with almost everything. When I was in high school, my parents found out I had a secret boyfriend and threatened to cut off my college funding. They said I had damaged our family's reputation just because we held hands at school. Mila, on the other hand, got suspended for inappropriate behavior under the bleachers with a boy last year, and she somehow convinced our parents the teachers made it up because they didn't like her. Despite our complicated history, I agreed to let her live with me. I thought maybe we could improve our relationship, and honestly, having someone to split bills with sounded appealing. My boyfriend Harold, 25M, and I have been together for 3 years, and he spends a lot of time at my place. Harold is thoughtful, hardworking, and treats me with nothing but respect. He usually stays over on weekends and drops by a few evenings during the week. The problem started almost immediately after Mila moved in. The first incident happened about 2 weeks into her stay. Harold came over for dinner, and Mila emerged from her room wearing practically nothing, just underwear and a thin tank top. She walked right past us in the living room, went to the kitchen, took her time getting water, then slowly walked back, making sure to pass directly in front of Harold. He immediately looked away and focused on his phone. I noticed she never dressed like this when we were alone or when any of my female friends visited. After Harold left that night, I told Mila that walking around in underwear when guests are over isn't appropriate. She laughed it off and claimed Harold was basically family so it shouldn't matter. She said she just wanted to be comfortable in her own home. I pointed out that she never dressed like that around anyone else, just Harold. Over the next few weeks, her behavior escalated. Whenever Harold and I would go to my bedroom for privacy, Mila would find reasons to interrupt us. She'd knock on my door claiming she was bored and wanted to hang out with both of us. Or she'd create some emergency that required immediate attention. Once she even asked Harold specifically to help her kill a spider in her bedroom. These interruptions only happened when she noticed us go into my bedroom together. I confronted her again and explained that she needs to respect our privacy. I told her not to bother us when my bedroom door is closed. She nodded and promised to do better, but nothing changed. Last weekend, Harold told me something that made my blood boil. Apparently, whenever I left the room, even just to use the bathroom, Mila would immediately start inappropriate conversations with him. She asked him about his past relationships, how many women he'd been with before me, and even tried to get him to comment on outfits she was thinking of wearing, asking if he thought she looked hot in them. Harold said he consistently shut these conversations down, either by ignoring her completely or explicitly telling her he wasn't interested in discussing such topics. I started noticing other concerning behaviors. My makeup and perfume kept disappearing from my bathroom. After checking Mila's room when she was at class, I found my missing items scattered across her vanity. She'd been using my things without asking. The situation reached a breaking point yesterday. I came home early from work because I forgot some files. Mila wasn't expecting me and had left her laptop open on the kitchen counter. As I walked past, I noticed Harold's face on her screen. She had a Facebook chat open with her friend from back home. Curiosity got the better of me, and I read their messages. Mila had written to her friend that Harold was coming over that evening and she needed to buy something sexy to wear. When her friend commented that Harold was too old, Mila defended him, saying 25 isn't old at all and that he was incredibly hot. Then came the shocking part. Mila shared several photos of Harold with her friend, none of which were from social media. They were candid pictures she had secretly taken of him around our apartment. Harold sleeping on the couch. Harold cooking in our kitchen. There was even one of him walking down the street outside our building. She had been stalking him and taking photos without his knowledge. I immediately called Harold and told him what I discovered. We decided it would be best to spend time at his apartment for a while. For the past week, I've been staying at his place almost every night. I feel pushed out of my own home by my sister's inappropriate behavior. I'm completely frustrated by this situation. Mila is 18, not 15. She's old enough to understand boundaries and respect. I've tried talking to her directly, but she dismisses my concerns or turns things around on me. I'm not sure what to do next. My options seem limited. Give Mila one final warning, though previous warnings haven't worked. Talk to our parents, risky, as they always take her side. Confront Mila with Harold present, ask her to move out. Complicated by family dynamics and financial considerations. I can't break my lease, and Mila can't afford the apartment on her own. Our parents are paying her portion of the rent. I'm hesitant to involve them because they've always favored her and dismissed her problematic behavior. They would likely make excuses for her, saying she doesn't know better or that I'm misreading the situation. Mila knows exactly how to manipulate them. She puts on this innocent act, cries, and pretends to be fragile. They fall for it every time. Has anyone dealt with a similar situation? How do I address this inappropriate behavior from my sister without completely destroying family relationships? I feel trapped in an impossible situation. Update 1. After reading through all your comments on my original post, I decided to contact my parents first. Many of you suggested I should give them a chance to address the situation, even though I was skeptical based on our history. I called them and explained Mila's behavior clearly and directly. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I told them about the inappropriate clothing, the interruptions, the conversations with Harold, and the secret photos. I made it clear that if they didn't address this with Mila immediately, I would be giving her formal notice to move out. I presented this as information, not a request for permission. I was simply letting them know what was happening and what steps I would take next. To my genuine surprise, they believed me. Their reaction was completely unexpected. My mother explained that I had missed a family gathering last month where Mila had behaved inappropriately with my cousin Rachel's boyfriend. Apparently, Mila had spent the entire event trying to sit next to him, touching his arm during conversations, and following him around. Rachel, who is around my age, was upset, and it became the main topic of discussion among our extended family. My parents had already punished Mila by taking away her car privileges, but they hadn't connected this pattern of behavior until I called. They also admitted they like Harold and think he's good husband material. They asked me to give them a chance to talk with Mila before I took drastic measures. They promised to have a serious conversation with her about boundaries and respect. I told them I would think about it, but privately, I didn't have much hope. 18 years of experience told me they would either fail to follow through or Mila would manipulate them again. The very next day, Mila posted on Facebook, "Sometimes you can't let other people stand in the way of what your heart wants." When I saw this, any remaining patience I had evaporated. This wasn't a misunderstanding. She knew exactly what she was doing and had no intention of stopping. That evening, I went back to my apartment to confront her directly. I told her that her behavior toward Harold was inappropriate and disrespectful. I explained that she had two choices: stop immediately or find somewhere else to live. I made it clear that I was disgusted by her actions and felt betrayed by my own sister. Mila exploded. She started insulting my appearance, claiming Harold would leave me soon anyway because I didn't put enough effort into looking good for him. She pointed out that I rarely wear makeup and my clothing style is simple. She told me I wasn't much older than her and had no right to tell her what to do. She insisted she was just being herself around Harold and I was the one with a problem. I remained calm, which seemed to frustrate her even more. I simply stated that adult actions have adult consequences, and her consequence was eviction. When she claimed I couldn't legally make her leave, I informed her that in our state, I could give her 30 days notice since she wasn't on the lease. I had already checked with my landlord who confirmed this was acceptable. Mila stormed off to her room. I immediately contacted my parents to let them know what happened and that my decision was final. They seemed stunned but didn't argue. My father mumbled something about the big city being a bad influence on Mila. I didn't bother responding to that. The next day, I purchased a small security camera for the common areas of the apartment. I wasn't sure if Mila would damage my belongings out of spite, and I wanted evidence if anything happened. I also wanted protection against any false accusations she might make. I've been staying at Harold's place almost exclusively. He offered to talk to Mila directly and set boundaries himself, but I decided against it. This is a family matter, and I didn't want to put him in an uncomfortable position. Besides, given Mila's obvious fixation on him, I doubt his involvement would help. Harold has been incredibly supportive throughout this mess. He's given me space when I needed it and comfort when I broke down from stress. We've talked openly about everything, and it's actually brought us closer. He assured me that he never gave Mila any reason to think he was interested, which I never doubted. My parents called yesterday to say they spoke with Mila and are making arrangements for her to move back home by the end of the week. I'm relieved this is happening faster than the 30-day timeline I gave her. I checked my security camera footage and saw that Mila hasn't damaged anything, but she spent most of her time either posting dramatic status updates online about how life is unfair and no one understands me, or texting furiously. I've hidden her updates from my feed to preserve my sanity. I still plan to visit my parents once things settle down. We need to have a serious conversation about Mila's behavior and how they've enabled it over the years. For now, I'm just glad this particular crisis is nearly resolved. I'll update again after Mila moves out. Update 2. Mila moved out the day after my last update. My parents drove 4 hours to our city, packed up all her belongings, and took her back home. They were surprisingly quiet during the process. No accusations, no defending Mila, no blaming me or the big city for corrupting their precious daughter. They seemed almost embarrassed. I think they finally realized how serious Mila's behavior had become. I stayed at the apartment during the move to make sure Mila didn't take any of my belongings. She refused to speak to me and spent most of the time waiting in the car, occasionally slamming doors or stomping up the stairs when she needed to carry something. My parents apologized multiple times, which felt strange after years of them taking Mila's side in every conflict. After they left, I thoroughly cleaned the apartment and reclaimed my space. It felt like a weight had been lifted. Harold came over that evening, and we celebrated with takeout and a movie marathon. For the first time in months, we didn't have to worry about inappropriate interruptions or uncomfortable encounters. About a week after Mila left, she posted on Facebook, "My own sister made me homeless because she's crazy and insecure. If anyone can help me find a place to stay, please message me." Several of her friends commented with supportive messages, calling me terrible names and offering sympathy. What Mila didn't expect was my cousin Rachel's response. Rachel commented publicly, "Don't try to make yourself the victim. Everyone in the family knows what you did at the reunion with my boyfriend, and now you've done the same thing to your sister. If you had self-control and basic respect for other people's relationships, this wouldn't have happened. Grow up. After Rachel's comment, which received many likes even from Mila's friends, the dramatic post stopped abruptly. But Mila wasn't done trying to cause problems. She sent Harold a private message on Facebook. "Can you please talk to my sister? I feel so hurt and homeless. You're more reasonable than she is. If you help me, there might be something nice in it for you." Harold immediately showed me the message. He hadn't responded right away because he wanted to think carefully about what to say. When I asked to see his reply, he hesitated, explaining he felt awkward about lecturing my sister. When he finally showed me, I understood why. Harold had written a lengthy, firm response making his position crystal clear. He told Mila that we were a team and he would never take her side against mine. He expressed hope that someday he might be her brother-in-law, but her current behavior was unflattering and not attractive. He advised her that acting this way would only attract the wrong kind of men and that she needed to grow up and learn to respect boundaries. His response made me incredibly happy, especially the brother-in-law comment. We've discussed moving in together officially, using Mila's former room as a home office or guest room. My parents have agreed to continue paying what would have been Mila's portion of rent as a way to make amends for the situation. Mila's messages to me changed dramatically after Harold's response. Before, they were angry and filled with insults. After, she became desperate and pleading, promising she would never even look at Harold again and claiming she never really liked him anyway. I remained firm and reminded her that she had her chance and blew it. I visited my parents last weekend. We had a long, difficult conversation about their parenting and the favoritism they've shown Mila. They acknowledged they may have been too lenient with her and too strict with me. They're considering family therapy to address these issues. Mila refused to join our conversation and stayed in her room the entire time I was there. For now, I'm keeping my distance from Mila. Time might heal this rift, but only if she demonstrates real change and genuine remorse. Harold and I are stronger than ever, and we're excited about our future together. Update 3. It's been half a year since the drama with Mila, and I wanted to provide one final update. My parents followed through with family therapy, though Mila only attended 2 sessions before refusing to continue. According to my mother, the therapist addressed Mila's pattern of pursuing unavailable men and suggested it might stem from attention-seeking behavior and low self-esteem. Mila stormed out of the session and declared the therapist was against her from the start. Despite Mila's resistance, my parents have maintained firmer boundaries with her. They've enrolled her in the local community college and required her to get a part-time job. She's no longer receiving the constant praise and free passes she was accustomed to. This new approach has caused significant tension at home. My mother called me twice last month in tears after explosive arguments with Mila. As for Harold and me, we decided to move into a new apartment together 3 months ago. The lease at my old place was ending, and we found a wonderful 2-bedroom unit closer to both our workplaces. Living together has been surprisingly smooth. We complement each other well and have similar habits and expectations. Last month, Mila reached out to me directly for the first time since she moved out. She asked if she could visit and stay with us for a weekend because she needed to get away from our parents. I consulted with Harold, and we both agreed it wasn't a good idea. I told Mila that I wasn't comfortable having her in our home given her past behavior and the lack of any meaningful apology or change. She responded with a lengthy message accusing me of holding grudges and claimed she was just joking around last year. She insisted I had misinterpreted everything and that Harold was not even her type. I didn't bother arguing with her version of events. I simply repeated that I wasn't comfortable with her visiting and suggested she look into staying with friends instead. 2 weeks ago, I discovered through family gossip that Mila has been dating her professor at community college, a man in his late 30s. My parents are concerned but haven't found an effective way to intervene, especially since Mila is legally an adult. This news reinforced my decision to maintain distance from her. Her pattern of pursuing inappropriate relationships continues, just with a different target. My relationship with my parents has improved significantly. They've apologized multiple times for the years of favoritism and acknowledged how it affected me. We now have dinner together once a month, and they've made an effort to get to know Harold better. Last week, my father even helped us install new shelving in our apartment, something he would never have done in the past. As for Harold and me, we're discussing engagement. He's planning to propose sometime in the next few months. I found the ring receipt while organizing our desk. I'm excited about our future together and grateful that the situation with Mila, while painful, ultimately brought positive changes to our relationship and my family dynamics. I won't be updating again unless something dramatic happens, which I sincerely hope it won't. Sometimes setting firm boundaries, even with family, is the healthiest choice for everyone involved. Now let's move on to the next story. Story 2. My family accused my wife of stealing, which she didn't, at a family reunion. When the truth was out, they didn't even apologize, so I broke up with them. I, 34M, never thought I'd be posting here, but I'm at my wit's end and could use some outside perspective. This is going to be long, so bear with me. Some background: I grew up in a small town with my parents and younger sister, Sarah, 31F. Our childhood was pretty normal on the surface, but there was always an undercurrent of tension. Our parents, while not outright abusive, clearly favored Sarah. She was the golden child who could do no wrong, while I was often criticized and held to impossibly high standards. This dynamic wasn't always obvious to outsiders, but it was a constant presence in our home. I remember countless instances where Sarah's accomplishments were celebrated lavishly, while mine were barely acknowledged. For example, when I made the honor roll in high school, my parents' response was a tepid "That's nice, honey." But when Sarah got a B+ on a difficult test, they threw her a party and bought her a new phone. This pattern repeated throughout our childhood and teenage years, slowly eroding my self-esteem and creating a rift between Sarah and me. After high school, I was eager to escape the suffocating atmosphere of our small town and my parents' constant comparisons. I moved to the city for college, throwing myself into my studies and part-time jobs. It was challenging, but for the first time, I felt like I could breathe. I was free to define myself on my own terms, without the shadow of Sarah's perceived perfection looming over me. I stayed in the city after graduating, building a successful career in marketing. It wasn't easy. I started at the bottom and worked my way up, often putting in 60-hour weeks. But the satisfaction of earning my own achievements, ones that couldn't be diminished by comparison to Sarah, made it all worthwhile. It was during this time that I met Emma, 32F. We connected instantly over our shared love of obscure indie bands and terrible B-movies. Emma was like a breath of fresh air, supportive, kind, and genuinely interested in me as a person. We dated for 3 years before getting married, and now we have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter, Lily. Meanwhile, Sarah stayed in our hometown. She married her high school sweetheart, Tom, right after graduation and had 3 kids in quick succession. From the outside, it looked like she was living the perfect small-town life that our parents had always envisioned. Our parents doted on Sarah's children, constantly talking about how amazing she was as a mother. They'd drive hours to attend every little league game and dance recital. In contrast, they've only visited us twice since Lily was born, despite living much closer to us than to Sarah. When they do visit, they constantly criticize our parenting choices, everything from our decision to use cloth diapers to the fact that we're raising Lily bilingual. Emma is French-Canadian. This has caused a lot of tension over the years. Emma and I have tried to maintain a civil relationship with my family for Lily's sake, but it's been an uphill battle. We've had countless discussions about boundaries and respect, but it seems to go in one ear and out the other with my parents. Last month, our parents decided to throw a big family reunion at their house. They invited all the extended family, aunts, uncles, cousins, the works. Emma and I were hesitant to go, given our history, but we figured it would be good for Lily to see her cousins and other relatives. Plus, a small part of me hoped that maybe, just maybe, things would be different this time. The reunion started off okay. It was awkward, but we were managing. Emma and I stuck close together, making small talk with relatives we hadn't seen in years. Lily was having a blast playing with her cousins, which made the discomfort worthwhile. Then, on the second day, all hell broke loose. Our Aunt Linda, my mother's sister and a notoriously dramatic person, noticed that her expensive designer purse was missing from the guest room where she was staying. She immediately started making a scene, loudly accusing the outsiders of theft. It quickly became clear that by outsiders, she meant Emma and me, since we were the only ones who didn't live in town. I was shocked and hurt by the accusation. I tried to defend ourselves, explaining that we had no need or desire to steal from anyone. But Aunt Linda was adamant. She said she had seen me lurking near the guest rooms earlier that day, acting suspiciously. The truth was, I had been looking for a quiet place to change Lily's diaper away from the crowd, but of course, that sounded like a flimsy excuse to them. To my horror, my parents and Sarah didn't stand up for me. They stood there silently as Aunt Linda ranted, occasionally exchanging glances that seemed to say, well, it does make sense. Then Sarah chimed in, saying she had noticed that Emma and I seemed to be living beyond our means lately, with new clothes and gadgets. She implied that we might be having financial troubles and could have been tempted to steal. I was furious. We weren't living beyond our means at all. I had recently gotten a promotion and bonus at work, which allowed us to upgrade some things we'd been putting off for years. But Sarah had no way of knowing that because she never bothered to ask about my life. Our conversations, on the rare occasions we talked, were always about her kids or our parents. She hadn't shown genuine interest in my life in years. The situation escalated quickly. More relatives joined in, bringing up petty grievances from years ago. Someone mentioned that toys had gone missing at a previous family gathering we'd attended. Another person said they'd noticed Emma admiring the purse earlier. It felt like everyone was piling on, eager to finally put the black sheep of the family in his place. Emma was in tears, hurt and bewildered by the accusations. Lily was crying because of all the yelling, clinging to Emma's leg in confusion and fear. I felt like I was in some kind of nightmare. I tried to keep my cool and suggest we all calm down and look for the purse rationally, but no one was listening. My father, who had been quiet until then, finally spoke up, not to defend me, but to ask us to leave until things settled down. I couldn't believe it. My own father was kicking us out based on a baseless accusation. I looked at my mother, hoping she would say something, but she just avoided eye contact. The betrayal I felt in that moment was indescribable. We packed up our things in record time, with various relatives watching us like hawks to make sure we didn't take anything else. As we were leaving, Aunt Linda dramatically announced that she would be filing a police report. I told her to go ahead, knowing we had nothing to hide, but inside I was seething with anger and humiliation. The drive home was tense and quiet, broken only by Lily's occasional sniffles. Emma and I were both in shock, trying to process what had just happened. How had a family reunion turned into us being accused of theft and kicked out? How could my own family turn on us so quickly, with no evidence? It's been 2 weeks since then, and the situation has only gotten worse. Aunt Linda did file a police report, and we had to endure the humiliation of being questioned by local officers. They didn't find any evidence against us, of course, but the damage to our reputation was done. Word spreads fast in a small town, and I'm sure by now everyone has heard a distorted version of events painting us as the villains. My parents and Sarah haven't reached out once to apologize or even check on us. It's like we've ceased to exist for them. Meanwhile, flying monkeys from the family have been messaging us non-stop, alternating between guilt-tripping us to return the purse and apologize and threatening us with legal action. It's exhausting and infuriating. Emma is devastated. She's always been insecure about not being fully accepted by my family, and this has confirmed her worst fears. She's talking about cutting off contact with all of them, and honestly, I'm tempted to agree. The thought of exposing Lily to this toxic dynamic makes me sick to my stomach. I'm hurt, angry, and confused. I don't know how to move forward from this. Part of me wants to fight to clear our names, to force my family to acknowledge how badly they've treated us. But another part just wants to walk away from this toxic family dynamic for good. I keep replaying everything in my mind, wondering if there were signs I missed or if this betrayal was always inevitable. The hardest part is realizing that the family I thought I had, the one I've been trying to please my entire life, doesn't actually exist. They've shown their true colors, and it's ugly. I'm grieving for the relationships I thought we had, even as I'm angry at myself for not seeing the truth sooner. So, Reddit, what do I do now? How do I protect my wife and daughter from this mess? Is there any coming back from this level of accusation and betrayal? Should I even want to? How do I start to heal from this and move forward? Any advice or similar experiences would be greatly appreciated. Update 1. Thank you all for your supportive comments and advice on my original post. The outpouring of kindness from strangers on the internet has been overwhelming and deeply appreciated. A lot has happened in the past week, so I wanted to give you an update. First, some good news: the missing purse was found. But of course, in true fashion for my family, this discovery only led to more drama and revealed even deeper issues in our family dynamic. It turns out that my 7-year-old nephew, Sarah's oldest son, had taken the purse. He apparently thought it would be funny to hide it and watch everyone search for it. When things escalated and he realized how serious the situation had become, he got scared and kept quiet. I can't really blame him. He's just a kid who made a mistake and then got in over his head. The truth came out when Sarah was cleaning his room and found the purse stuffed in the back of his closet. According to Sarah, he broke down crying and confessed everything. I can only imagine how terrified and guilty he must have felt, carrying that secret while watching the chaos unfold around him. You'd think this would immediately clear our names and lead to a flood of apologies, right? Well, you'd be wrong. The way my family handled this revelation says a lot about their priorities and the dysfunctional patterns that have been in place for years. Sarah called our parents first, and together they decided to handle the situation quietly. Their plan was to return the purse to Aunt Linda and smooth things over without involving us or addressing the false accusations. They were more concerned about protecting my nephew, and by extension, Sarah's reputation as a mother, than about clearing our names or acknowledging the harm they had caused us. Luckily, or unluckily, depending on how you look at it, Aunt Linda has a big mouth. She immediately started calling everyone to announce that her purse had been miraculously found in Sarah's house. That's how we found out about it, through a distant cousin who called to apologize for believing the accusations against us. I was floored. Not only had they found definitive proof of our innocence, but they were actively trying to sweep it under the rug without acknowledging the harm they'd caused us. It was a stark reminder of how little we mattered in the family hierarchy. I called my parents, demanding an explanation. The conversation did not go well. They tried to downplay the whole incident, saying things like it was all a misunderstanding and let's just put this behind us. When I pressed them on why they didn't immediately call us to apologize, my father actually said, "Well, we didn't want to bother you if it turned out to be a false alarm." I lost it at that point. All the hurt, anger, and resentment I'd been holding back came flooding out. I told them exactly what I thought of their behavior, their favoritism, and their willingness to throw Emma and me under the bus. I laid out every instance of unfair treatment over the years, from childhood until now. I brought up specific incidents: the time they forgot my high school graduation because Sarah had a minor fender bender, the way they dismissed my career achievements while praising Sarah for being a stay-at-home mom, how they always sided with her in any disagreement between us. I told them how their behavior had affected my self-esteem and my ability to trust people. It was like a dam breaking. Years of pent-up emotions came pouring out. My mother started crying, playing the victim as usual. She kept saying things like, "How can you say these things to us? We've always loved you." My father yelled back, accusing me of being oversensitive and ungrateful. He actually had the audacity to say that if I had visited more often or made more of an effort with the family, none of this would have happened. It was classic Darvo: deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. I hung up on them mid-sentence. I was shaking with anger and felt physically ill. Emma held me as I broke down, the stress of the past few weeks finally catching up to me. It was a mix of relief at finally saying these things out loud, and deep sadness at realizing that even now, my parents couldn't acknowledge their role in hurting me. Sarah tried to call multiple times, but I couldn't bring myself to talk to her. She left a voicemail full of excuses about how she was just caught up in the moment during the reunion and didn't mean to accuse us. She said she hoped we could move past this for the sake of the kids. Her message was all about her feelings and her desires, with no real acknowledgement of how her actions had affected us. I deleted the message without responding. The extended family is now split. Some are mortified by how we were treated and have reached out to apologize sincerely. My cousin Jake, who I was close to as a kid but had drifted apart from, called to express his shock at the whole situation. He offered to be a neutral mediator if we ever wanted to try family therapy. It was touching to realize that not everyone in the family was willing to sweep this under the rug. Others are trying to rug sweep, saying we should just forgive and forget because family is family. They're putting pressure on us to reconcile, without acknowledging that reconciliation requires genuine remorse and changed behavior from the other side. A few are even suggesting that we should apologize for overreacting and causing a scene at the reunion. It's mind-boggling how they can twist the situation to somehow make us the bad guys. Emma and I have decided to take a big step back from my side of the family. We're not going no contact yet, but we're setting firm boundaries. We've blocked the flying monkeys and are only responding to direct communication from immediate family. We're also looking into family therapy to help us process this trauma and decide how to move forward. One positive outcome is that this situation has brought Emma and me even closer together. Seeing her stand by me unwaveringly, even when my own family turned against us, has deepened my love and appreciation for her. We're united in protecting our little family unit above all else. We've had many deep conversations about family, trust, and what we want for Lily's future. We're committed to breaking the cycle of favoritism and conditional love that I experienced growing up. We want Lily to know that she's loved unconditionally and that it's okay to stand up for herself, even against family. I'm still angry and hurt, but I'm also feeling a sense of clarity I've never had before about my family dynamics. It's painful to realize how dysfunctional things have been, but it's also empowering to finally see it clearly and know that I don't have to participate in it anymore. The road ahead isn't clear, but I know that with Emma by my side, we'll figure it out. We're focusing on healing and on creating a healthy, loving environment for Lily. Whether that includes my extended family in the future remains to be seen, but for now, we're prioritizing our own well-being. Thank you again for all your support. It's meant more than you know during this difficult time. I'll update again if there are any significant developments. Update 2: It's been about a month since my last update, and I wanted to share some final thoughts on this whole ordeal. A lot has happened, and we've done a lot of processing and decision-making. First, thank you all again for your unwavering support and advice. It's been incredibly helpful to have an outside perspective during this challenging time. Your comments have often provided clarity when I felt lost in the fog of family drama. After much discussion and soul-searching, Emma and I have made the difficult decision to go low contact with my family for the foreseeable future. We're not cutting them off entirely, but we're drastically reducing our interactions and setting very firm boundaries. We spent several days drafting a lengthy email that we sent to my parents, Sarah, and a few key family members outlining our decision. We wanted to be clear about our feelings and expectations, while also leaving the door open for potential reconciliation down the line. In the email, we explained how deeply hurt we were by their actions and lack of trust in us. We detailed the impact of their behavior, not just from the recent incident but from years of unfair treatment. We made it clear that while we're open to rebuilding relationships in the future, it would require acknowledgement of the harm done, sincere apologies, and most importantly, changed behavior. We also set out some ground rules for any future contact. These included, no unannounced visits, no discussing our decision with extended family or mutual acquaintances, respecting our parenting choices without criticism, and treating Emma with the same respect they'd show any other family member. We made it clear that any violation of these boundaries would result in further reduction of contact. The responses we received were mixed, revealing a lot about each family member's mindset and willingness to change. My parents sent a lengthy reply that was part apology, part justification. They admitted they handled the situation poorly but still tried to shift some blame onto us for distancing ourselves from the family. They expressed sadness at the thought of losing contact with Lily and asked for a chance to make things right, suggesting family therapy. While it wasn't the full acknowledgement we were hoping for, it was more self-reflection than I've ever seen from them. Sarah's response was more defensive. She apologized for jumping to conclusions but spent most of her message explaining how stressed and overwhelmed she's been, as if that excuses her behavior. She also implied that our decision to go low contact was an overreaction that would hurt the children. It was disappointing but not surprising. Sarah has always struggled to take responsibility for her actions. The rest of the family's responses ranged from supportive to guilt-tripping. Some respected our decision and promised to do better, while others accused us of tearing the family apart over a simple misunderstanding. My Aunt Linda, whose purse started this whole mess, sent a terse message saying she had nothing to apologize for and that we were being overly sensitive. We haven't responded to any of these messages yet. We're taking time to process everything and decide how we want to move forward. The family therapy suggestion is on the table, but we're not rushing into anything. We've agreed that if we do pursue therapy, it will be with a neutral third party, not someone connected to the family or the small town they live in. On a more positive note, this situation has led to some unexpected personal growth. I've started individual therapy to work through my childhood issues and the complex emotions this incident has brought up. It's been eye-opening to examine the patterns of behavior I've accepted as normal for so long. I'm learning to set healthier boundaries and to validate my own feelings without needing approval from others. Emma has been my rock through all of this. Her unwavering support has made me appreciate her more than ever. We've had many deep conversations about family, trust, and our values. It's strengthened our bond and clarified our priorities as a couple and as parents. Speaking of parenting, we've put a lot of thought into how we want to raise Lily in light of all this. We're committed to breaking the cycle of favoritism and conditional love that I experienced growing up. We want her to know that she's loved unconditionally and that it's okay to stand up for herself, even against family. We're also focusing on teaching her about healthy relationships and boundaries from an early age. We've been pleasantly surprised by the support we've received from friends and colleagues. When we finally shared what had happened, many stepped up to offer emotional support, childcare help, and even legal advice. It's been a powerful reminder that family isn't just about blood relations. We're grateful for this chosen family that has rallied around us. As for the extended family, the dust has mostly settled. My aunt eventually offered a reluctant apology, more focused on how embarrassed she was then on the harm she caused. We accepted it politely but distantly. The cousin who initially tipped us off about the purse being found has become an unexpected ally, keeping us informed about family gossip without pressuring us to engage. Interestingly, this incident has caused some other family members to reflect on their own experiences. My cousin Jake reached out to share some of his own struggles with family dynamics that he'd never felt able to express before. It's sad to realize how many of us were suffering in silence, but there's also hope in the possibility of supporting each other and breaking these toxic cycles. Looking ahead, we're cautiously optimistic. While the pain of this betrayal is still fresh, we're focusing on healing and moving forward. We're planning a small vacation, just the three of us, to reset and make some happy memories after all this stress. We're also looking into moving to a new neighborhood, partly for a fresh start and partly to be closer to Emma's job. We know there will likely be more drama when we skip the next family gathering or holiday, but we feel prepared to handle it. We've role-played potential scenarios and prepared responses to common guilt trips or manipulations. Our priority now is protecting our mental health and our little family unit. One unexpected outcome of this whole ordeal is that I've started writing more. Initially, it was just journaling to process my feelings, but it's evolved into something more. I'm considering starting a blog about navigating difficult family relationships and breaking generational trauma. If nothing else, it might help others feel less alone in their struggles. To anyone going through similar family struggles, know that it's okay to prioritize your own well-being. It's not selfish to set boundaries, even with family. Healing is a journey, and it's okay if it takes time. Surround yourself with people who respect and support you, whether they're related to you or not. Thank you all again for being a part of this journey with me. Your kindness and wisdom have been a bright spot in a dark time. I may not update again unless something significant changes, but please know that your support has made a real difference in our lives. We're moving forward with hope, determined to create the healthy, loving family environment that everyone deserves.